The current spoiler warning level is Scarlet.
Friends and folks, for this episode, you're looking at a spoiler warning level of Scarlet. We're talking about machines from Mobile Suit Gundam The Witch from Mercury and Witch from Mercury Vanitas Heart, the spin-off manga. These machines are from the whole run of the show. They are of significant plot importance, and it's quite spoilery for listeners of the Great Gundam Project because they haven't reached Witch from Mercury just yet. Please enjoy the episode. Hello friends and folks, and welcome back to another episode of Mechanista NG, your home for the discussion of robots. I'm Six Detmar.
And I'm Dylan.
How's it going, Dylan? Early morning for you?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, what? Yeah, 10:53 a.m. I haven't slept yet.
Wait, you're on East Coast? I thought you were on Central.
No, I'm East Coast. I've always been 3 hours ahead of you.
Oh. I've always thought you were 2 hours ahead of me. So now we're on the same time. Okay.
Yeah.
Weird.
Wait, yeah, no, because you remember it used to be, we would do recordings at 2 o'clock my time, which was 11 a.m. your time. When you were in California, right?
I mean, I just knew when we did recording. What time it was for you never came up very much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you were just like, yeah, I can record. You never said numbers for anything.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, yes, we're on the same time now.
Okay, cool.
So it's not like it's too early. It's just, you know.
Sure.
But I may have inadvertently stayed up catching up on hit RPG since the 5th chapter of Deltarune came out, and my girlfriend wants to talk with me about it. Talk to me about it, but also needs me to catch up. So I decided I just played chapter 1 and 2. 6's...
Alright, we're gonna run like this. That's fine.
Okay, I was gonna say 6's new place has had some internet difficulties.
It's had a lot of difficulties. I don't like this place.
I'm sorry.
So it goes. Hopefully
Anyway.
I won't be here for too insanely long. Anyway, let's roll some dice.
Yep. Alright.
Wait. Why do you do this? Okay. Alright. Okay, this person only has one thing on their request list, so that should make things nice and easy. Thank you to Twitter listener, well, not Twitter, sorry, Blue Sky. I don't check Twitter, I'm just habitual. Blue Sky listener Datenchi Aigara.
Okay.
Let me pull this up.
Is this the first request from them we've ever done?
Yes, and this is their only request so far.
Okay, cool. I was just like, that's a new name. I swear I haven't seen that name. At least not heard it come up. So.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah. Go for it.
Here you go.
Oh, this is the Gundam... Ooh, this is the one from G-Witch, Vanatus Heart. Fuck. I even own this one, like the model kit of it, and I don't remember its name. Is it the Lfrith
I'm afraid I think
Anavata?
you're... Damn, I was gonna be a real jerk about this. Yeah, it is.
Okay. No, no. What? I said Anavata, but that's not what it is. It's...
I mean, that's how it's spelled.
Oh, wait. Okay, because I saw Anokuta is on the G-Witch Vanatus Heart website.
Okay, well, that's not what's anywhere else.
Okay, that's funny. Because, yeah, here... Well, because of course, because I didn't know if I had the name right, so I went to the Vanatus Heart website instead, and this is how it is.
Lfrith, you know what? Interesting.
Anokuta?
Yeah, that is how it is in the katakana, but it is romanized as Anavata. I don't know why. Interesting. I mean, Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, I wonder. Well, I don't know where it's getting on. I don't know where the second word is coming from. I'm wondering if that word is like a different word that is romanized strangely in English. No,
let me check.
When I look it up,
MAHQ.
when I look up that word, it only pulls up the
Mhm.
Lfrith Anavata, and everything spells it Lfrith Anavata. And I'm pretty sure the kit also on the box says Lfrith Anavata, even though it has Anakta as the... I don't know
Yeah.
what this is.
I mean, listen, Chris is using Anavata. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, okay, so Anavata. Yep. Anyway, yeah, so this is a... Oh, have we covered the Lfrith? At all?
I'm not sure. I feel like we have, but I'm not.
I don't think we have, because
Nope, we haven't. Nope,
Well,
we haven't.
In this case, should we just do the Lfrith and all the Lfriths?
They were very specific in their requests.
Yeah, well, yeah, but if we only talk about this, it'll be a very short episode.
Let me pull up my messages and see, because I think it... Oh! No, I said in the DM, I'm pretty sure we've covered... They didn't ask for the base Lfrith, they asked for this one, and I was like, hey, sure, we can do that. I think we've covered the base Lfrith, but, you know... Oh no, I was sure we'd cover the base Lfrith, but we quite simply haven't, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, okay, that's fine. We can do the whole family, the whole huge family. We're gonna be here all day all the G-Witch suits.
It's not gonna be that, ridiculous. We don't have to talk about, like... Look, it'll be fine.
Oh, we're not talking about Ariel. I'm doing a funny bit.
Okay.
The G-Witch, I'm doing a funny bit about how G-Witch got canceled despite being a huge success. It got fucking Final Fantasy 15.
Basically, yeah. I mean, you know, technically speaking, we don't know how long it was supposed to have, but either way, it feels unfinished, and the last episode required them to call in literally every animation team ever, as you are subject to the longest credits sequence I've ever seen any normal TV anime ever have. Which is really funny.
Alright, well.
Anyway.
Anavata, you're gonna have to take a back seat.
Alright, so first
we're starting with 01.
Yep, the pre-production model. So, this is introduced in Gundam The Witch from Mercury Prologue. But during the Venatus incident. At the start of the show. So, yeah, so the Lfrith pre-production type are... I mean, it's the pre-production one, right? This is the prototype of the prototype, arguably. Because, you know, there's the actual Gundam Lfrith, and then there's the pre-production type. Now, interestingly, I noticed if you look at the developed into section, it doesn't actually have the regular Lfrith, which I'm curious about that. I guess, were they developed alongside each other? No.
I mean, they were built at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. It was like one was, I mean, which it's still stupid to not call it developed into. It's like you have one that's like an attempt to make the full version and one that's an attempt. It's like, actually, I guess it's kind of interesting in a production sense because it was like, hey, we are working on this project and we want it to be this big thing, but we also need to immediately be able to use it. So we are at the same time going to work on a full featured and an intentionally handicapped version of it. Handicapped is a strong word to use, but...
Is it... So it's like the Phaz and the Phaz. If you think about it that way.
Were those made at the same time?
Well, I guess not, no, because now that I think about it, the Phaz is just, hey, we built a simulacrum of the of the Double Zeta to put the armor on and see if it collapses or not. So I guess they're not at the same time. The thing is, that's a weird one, right? Because the Double Zeta does exist at the same time as the Phaz, though. You know what I mean?
I mean, sure. When you make something, it doesn't disappear immediately.
Yeah.
There's object permanence in the world.
Yes, but what I mean is, like, when do you consider the full armor Double Zeta as having been developed? When they finally slap the armor on the actual Double Zeta Gundam? Because obviously they developed the armor before that, though, because they had to put that on the Phaz. I don't know, it's weird. Anyway, whatever. I was just trying to draw an analogy to an existing robot, but it's not a perfect analogy, and anyway, it doesn't matter. This is the pre-production type. It is a Gundam mobile suit. It has, you know, the fancy hookup, for causing, you know, hooking up into the what is it? I forgot what it's actually called. You have the shell unit, which does Gund formatting, and it can use Gund bits. What is it called on the humans? Though, like the technology, like, is it just called
Isn't
Gund?
it called Gund format?
Is it just Gund? Yeah, I guess it's just Gund format. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I watched the show once through, and then now it's been long enough that I'm like, oh wait, I might not remember the exact terms, but yeah. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, basically, you are hooked into this machine, and, you can push it with your nervous system and brain, and that's not always good. So yeah, to describe this design for the head, we've got a Gundam-style head, but missing some certain Gundam elements, namely it doesn't have the V-fin. But we do have a Mohawk. The Mohawk has a camera on top. You also have a big, kind of a combination of like a Mohawk and forehead jewel. Because like, it's popped up pretty significantly. The only part that's a quote-unquote jewel is like you've got this dark, like black armor at the front of it, and then the rest is in this sort of, what would you call this color? Like it just feels like a military blue to me of some sort. Like
yeah, it's sort of like a slate blue, maybe?
Yeah. Rather than, as opposed to a slate gray, which is like mostly gray, but with a little bit of blue, this is kind of the opposite. It's blue, but
Right.
it's blue, but a little desaturated.
Mm-hmm.
Then you do have, on either side of the Mohawk, head Vulcans. The Vulcan barrels are lined in white, which is kind of fun. Then, on the side of the head, you have some cheek vents. You have lots of little panel lines, both on the Mohawk and on the side of the head going around the back. For the face, you do have two eyes. You have a mask, and then you have an area, like, of armor around the chin of the mask. But it's all, like, a flat color, so again, it's like, when you think of the elements in a vacuum, it's like, oh, this is Gundam-y, but the colors and everything make it feel not Gundam-y. Which is just kind of a fun touch.
Yeah, it feels like maybe more in line with the Hyakushiki in that way, sort of aesthetically, but clearly meaner.
Well, it's interesting,
also,
right?
and
Because
more
we don't really
military.
get tons of two-eyed suits in Gundam that aren't just given Gundam heads generally. So, like, I feel like that's true, right?
I mean, you get a lot of, I mean, I guess I'm thinking of a lot of, like, Titan suits and stuff, right?
Yeah, but
A lot of those.
Well, they're usually mono-eye, right? Gaplay, Masala, the Palace Athene, the Bulanoke.
Let me see. I'm thinking of the
Barzam.
Gaplant. How's the
Gaplant only has a mono-eye.
Really? I guess my memory's just failing me here. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah, my memory's just failing me.
It's just,
Fair enough.
Yeah, well, you know what Gaplant does have two eyes is, in Advance of Zeta, there's the one with the mask that has the two eyes, and that's because it has a Gundam face. They just gave it a Gundam face. And they even gave it a V-fin for the Gaplant, 5er, the TR5.
Huh. Yeah, I have no explanation then.
I just was trying to think about it, and it's like you have the Hyakushiki as like one of the major examples I can think of a two-eyed mobile suit that isn't, like, I mean, it is a Gundam, basically, but, you know.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. Anyway, but yeah, so then you have some really cool neck armor where, like, the front of the neck, you can see there's some visible mechanics, like some cabling going on, but then you actually have armor going around the neck on the sides, which is kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have a popped collar going around the neck area. Very pulled in, though. It's the torso's quite large, and this neck is, like, the neck and collar area is quite small relative to some other mobile suits.
Yeah, I think it's still fair to call it a popped collar, but compared to what we usually see, it almost evokes collarbone more.
Yeah. For the torso itself, you've got some white armor on the top of the sides, like right above where the arm joint is plugged into. You have the shell unit forming sort of a U shape or a V shape on the front of the chest, has a little gap in it with some blue armor, but that's mostly just the black shell unit on the top, and then, of course, because it's a shell unit, just like all the others, it can, when, you know, the gun system is active, it glows. Same with the forehead part. I should have mentioned that as well, but you can see, if you're on the video, a picture of that. Below the shell unit, you do have a kind of a neat pair of vents. It's like a big yellow... It's interesting, because it's like a yellow venting, like, vent housing, but then it's like only got the one fin in the middle. It's just really open and detailed and yellow, like, around it, which is kind of fun.
This is like the style of vent that Genthid likes to draw on this show.
Yeah. You got a blue middle piece on the center of the torso. You also have some more blue armor around the sides. Under the arms, you have some very rounded blue armor going underneath and around to the back. Then you have some white armor in the middle, as well as on the sides underneath. Between the white armor and the blue armor, like, sort of on the left and right offsets of the chest, you have some visible gray, like, inner frame parts that are actually there. And you can see, which is fun. And then, this is kind of an interesting thing to talk about, because, like, normally I think that I would consider that the upper torso, but then, like, the design has a really long waist. Like, the way the waist connects into the torso is interesting here. They run together a lot more than a lot of other mobile suits do.
It has more of a belly than you're used to a mobile suit having.
Yeah, because it has another plate of blue armor, and then you've got some blue armor going around the tops of the legs, but this is all above, like, the crotch plate and everything. And you have lots of, like, little visible gray parts in between the armor, so more visible inner frame in the middle of the torso. As for the arms... Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna tell a joke. Go ahead.
Okay. So for the shoulders, you've got pretty standard shoulder pauldrons. You've got, like, an extra, like, bump of armor around the front, kind of in a rectangular shape. It has a hexagonal piece on the, like, top middle of the shoulders as well. It looks like that top middle piece also has a camera in there, because you can notice there's green on the, like, inner lining of it, so I'm wondering if that's, like, you know, given that we know that these all have panoramic cockpits also.
I wonder if that's just generally supposed to be a sensor, though. I mean, like, I get you. I agree that, like, you know, generally in Gundam, the green like that, but, like, it's blocked.
It is blocked, yeah. It is blocked on the outside from the shoulders, because on the outside of the shoulder, so this is interesting, it has, like, a little shoulder armor that is, like, a very small shield. The reason this is interesting is this matches some of the Gund bits that, like, the Ariel and later Lfrith versions use, but it's not on this machine. It's just, like, static armor attached to the shoulder, which is kind of interesting. As for the upper arm, so the upper arm underneath the shoulder, it has, like, a circular kind of, like, upper arm there, and you can actually see, like, where the rotation is. It's interesting because normally the bicep and the upper arm are very connected, but on this they're very separate. Like, the bicep is just its own distinct section of arm. And the bicep is kind of interesting because it's got some... It's not really armored on the front and back. You just see, like, all gray inner frame, and then it just has, like, a blue plate sandwiching that gray. And then you have the joint in the middle, in gray. You can also see the bottom of the armor on the biceps has, like, the little circular caps to indicate where, you know, the joint rotation is happening, which is, you know, common on a lot of mobile suits. And then for the forearms, you've got, like, rounded armor around the under wrist area. The armor kind of juts out a bit more on the top and bottom of the arm. And then you've got the outer arm, like, it's almost designed like sort of a rail, where the shield is going to connect into, or would connect into if it had one. I can't remember if the pre-production doesn't have a shield, it just has its rifle. Anyway, yes, but it's, like, you know, got this, like, two plates of armor with, like, a little, like, thinner area in them, in between them, that, you know, on other machines that have similar armor is usually a hard point for the shield. As for the hands... Oh, sorry.
It's one of the weirdest parts of this design to me, because, like, I think a lot of, like, the head and the torso we've talked about so far, and they feel very specifically like Witch from Mercury to me, right? Like, this sort of aesthetic that Genthid brings to it. The, like, upper arm to lower arm part, like, you know, the bicep to forearm, feels like an IBO upper arm attached to a 00 forearm.
Yeah, I could see that.
Which is fine, it's just interesting.
Yeah. As for the hands, they are just a plate on the back and fingers, very standard for that design. For the lower waist, you've got a just a singular crotch piece, and then on the... You don't really have skirts on this design, and then on the rear you have you have a rear skirt, but that's it, and it's got kind of a it's like a plate on the back, and then you've got like a V shape or like a you have like 2 points on the bottom of it that are like with a big gap in between them, like as the armor hangs down. As for the legs themselves, the entire like ball of the upper leg, kind of like how the upper arm is very separate, the upper leg is, like, very separate. Like, yes, most mobile suits have, like, an inner gray part that is connected into the waist here, but it's just, like, a huge ball that has actual armor put on it here, which is very different. You've got blue armor around the front, top, and back of it. You can see there's, like, a lot of panel lining between the panels. And then the outside of it, kind of analogous to the shoulder, you have another armor piece attached to the outer thigh that has some white armor around the border of it and blue in the middle. It looks very similar to, like, the shoulder shield. Different details, but just, like, the same kind of aesthetic of, like, hey, extra armor bolted on with, you know, blue with white lining, which is kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the actual thigh, very thick thighs going on here. You have a big cut of armor in the middle. Also, very detailed thighs compared to a lot of what we look at, because as you may have realized when we've looked at a lot of mobile suits don't really do much with the thighs, but here, you've got, like, a big vent on the top of the thigh, on the front. It's got, like, this little box with, like, a cut into the armor. You've got, like, these nice grooves going down the sides of the thigh. And then on the back of the thighs, you actually have a thruster on either, like, back thigh, upper area. Again, something you associate more with usually the lower, like, calves having, as opposed to the thighs.
But it does actually make more sense up here, you know,
yeah,
design-wise.
Yeah. And then as you go down, though, for the knees, so the joint is only visible from the back, not the front. And it's like a very thin, weird wedge of a joint, kind of similar to the one that the arm uses. Where it's like a double axle, but like it's like just kind of a wedge in between.
In a way, it feels more bone-like, but also not a leg bone.
Yeah. Then for the knees, these are really cool because you have like a whole bunch of armor over the top, mostly in blue, though it has some white around the edges of the bottom of it, and then also there's a thruster on the knee area, which I always like. Going straight down the calves, you have more of the visible inner frame, just in gray. You have more blue armor around the sides and the back. The back has an interesting thing where, like, the connection to the foot area, it's actually true on the front because of, you know, just lacking the armor and having the inner frame visible, but it very suddenly drops off the back, so you have this, like, large indentation where you can see the inner frame of the, leg to, or the foot to the calf connection there, which I think is really cool. As for the feet, you've got kind of a weird ankle armor that covers around the sides and then has, like, a bar going around the front. You have a circular foot piece, very IBO-esque in that way, where you just got, like, the big circle, and then you've got a toe on the front of it in blue with white armor around the bottom of it. And then you also have a higher heel off the back, white armor along the bottom, blue on the top. And then you've got a bunch of these, like, I presume just thrusters that are, like, you know, separated by, like, thin, you just have, like, the thin lines kind of thing going on with the, back of the heel, you know?
Yeah, I don't think they're thrusters. I think it's just like, a landing spot that's supposed to be a little lightened in weight.
And then... Finally, for the backpack, really big backpack, just a large piece in the middle with a thruster on the top and the bottom of it. They're both facing backwards, it's just, you know, one's embedded more on the top, one's in the bottom. Then most of the back of the middle area is just empty, it's just like a big backpack, presumably full of fuel along with the two thrusters. And then there are two little sub-arms on there, well, I say sub-arms, they're just two little, like... Subarms implies a lot more mechanical detail. They're two little, like, support arms.
Yeah, struts with a pivot point.
Yeah, struts with a pivot point. That then have two large pods on these, and these pods are really cool. They have doors on the is it doors on the front and back? Yeah, they have doors on the front and back of them, and these are full of mines, which is a really cool weapon, the Chelonian, as they are called, which I don't know where that comes from either. Chelonian. Is that a Cthulhu? Nope. I was like, that sounds like a Cthulhu term, doesn't it? But no, it's
kind of, but I would highly doubt that.
It's a genus of sea turtle, where the green sea turtle is the only extant member. Oh, I guess because it's like little shells that it's firing. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just trying to guess.
Sure.
Anyway, yeah, so that's the Lfrith pre-production type. Took them a while to make a model of this thing. I love this thing though. I think it's really cool. It's very bare bones overall. It's got the beam Vulcans on the head. It's got a really cool looking beam rifle. I love the way the beam rifle on this looks. Let me see. Does MHQ?
MHQ has it. Yeah, I'll grab it.
Yeah, I have the wiki open, but I didn't have it MHQ. So, really futuristic looking beam rifle. I just like the look of it a lot. It's, you got the scope on top. It's got this like deep, like sort of inset like rail thing going on. There's the actual like, I presume that's the barrel on the top. Then you've just got this under area that is very sharp looking. I love this circular part on the side though. This is probably the thing that makes it look coolest to me, is just it having this like weird circular kind of cap on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Just makes it look futuristic. No stock though, which is kind of interesting for a weapon like this.
It's fun. I feel like this is, one of the first Gintha designs we're covering on the show. I think we covered the Calibarn. But you just get a real chance to see like the kind of, I would say, the like Armored Core inspired aesthetics that Gintha is bringing to Gundam, and it's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Though of course we have have we even gone over the actual Armored Core guys Gundams for this show?
Which
Mechanista? Did we do the Pharak?
We haven't done the.
No, we did.
We have not done the Pharak. We did.
Yeah, we did the Pharak.
Okay.
And it was only the Pharak that we talked about. It was I guess it was a short episode. Let me see. I'm hitting play so I can see the timestamp. It was a 15-minute episode. Oh God, the alarm. Yep. Spoiler alarm, because it was 2024, so it was, we covered it relatively early.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, no, I like Gintha's designs though a lot, and I like this design a lot. I just think it's a really cool design. I love this shot of it in the show that, luckily someone took a screen cap of it. This shot looks so cool. Just a cool pose.
It's very good.
But yeah, I mean, it's just got a very organic design in a way too, though, right? Like, just the proportions on it are really weird. Like, it's not proportioned really like a human, but, like, it still has, like, again, the way, like, the parts move, like you mentioned with, like, the joints and stuff, it just feels organic, more so than mechanical sometimes. I think it's really cool. I think it's a cool machine.
I think it manages to, like, mix, like, sort of, like, a spindliness and a chunkiness in a way that's really, like, really fun and invigorating.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the voice of someone who's been doing this for too long.
That's so funny. But yeah, I love the gun bits though. I mean, they're gun bits that are just mines, so they're not really cool bits. They just kind of fire and then they're done.
I mean, they're basically funnel missiles, but
yeah.
To
be fair, I think funnel missiles are kind of. I like regular bits. I get the practical use of bits like this as well, admittedly. But still.
I like funnel missiles partially because I played some of the Xi in XGF-02, and they're so good.
Oh yeah, no,
they're
fun.
So good.
I love the noise they make when you fire them. Just it does that
sound.
Really loud like whistling noise,
like high pitched one.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that's the Lfrith. The Lfrith pre-production types. They don't get really a bad showing per se. Basically, they're doing pretty good against normal mass production suits. It's basically once the Begier bow gets deployed, which is like, an ace suit, that they actually start losing pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
But against like the Heingra, they do fine. But yeah,
so
So these get destroyed, and then...
I was convinced by various write-ups, including the MAHQ write-up, that I think what we should do here is we should actually skip the Lfrith, as weird as that sounds. I feel like the Lfrith should be part of the aerial episode.
Okay. That's fair. Okay.
So...
Do we just want to talk about all the weird Lfrith variants then, or what?
I do, and there is one that shares a model number, but it also feels really different to me.
Is it the Gunvolva?
I'm talking about the Jue.
Oh, really?
Jue. It's also an XGF-01.
Yeah.
Despite being a really different machine. I mean, and part of what's interesting about it, it may be a little silly. I don't know if this totally makes sense because I don't know the, Vanadis Heart. I don't know the story there. I don't know when it takes place.
Uh-huh.
But given that this is supposed to be basically a heavily modified, but a variant of the same machine, I think it's so illustrative to show this next to this, which is made by, Ebikawa, next to the quote-unquote same basic machine by Jinthed. I think showing those side by side.
This is
really
the thing, though, right? Every Lfrith variant, every Lfrith variant is made by a different person. Because the Anavata, which we're going to talk about, is an Ippei design. And then you have
it is.
And then the and Thorn are Yanase designs. So they literally... the Lfrith is the one design where everyone kind of made their own version of it, which is really funny.
Well, and then, Jinthed then makes the regular Lfrith and the aerial, which is basically Lfrith, and the aerial rebuild, and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's...
sort of the protagonist line.
Mm-hmm.
But...
It's just interesting that,
It really is.
And then they were like, well, Yanase, you're not designing any of the companies, so you can design all the terrorist Lfriths. It's really funny.
I mean, I would believe with the Jue here on the left, the machine we're going to be discussing, if you told me that there was some bad 00 spin-off I hadn't seen where it was like, oh yeah, and then Ribbons had this waiting, but he wasn't able to finish it, I'd be like, yeah, absolutely, that makes sense.
I mean, yeah. It's funny because the way the model number of this one is so weird too, because it's XGF-01 II3.
Yeah.
Which is just a weird model number. Anyway, yeah, so this is the other Vanadis Heart one. This is the main unit of that. The Lfrith Jiu, or how is it pronounced?
I'm guessing. I do not know. I've been saying Jue.
But yeah, so this is what I believe is just the main unit of that. It was meant to be originally a prosthetic extension of the human body, which is interesting. It's not supposed to have weapons, basically.
Sure.
Originally. Of course, well, then it does. Because, we'll talk about the Tiger Hand. But I presume the original machine was not made with weapons in mind, necessarily. It was made to just be, hey... Because, again, that's what a lot of the Gundam stuff is tied to, right? Is all the prosthetics for space noids and such. So, kind of makes sense of doing this as, a weird extension of the body, and then it's like, hey, can we miniaturize this technology later? So this is another, weird testbed unit. And yeah. To describe this design for the head, we've got a face that is fully covered by a shell unit, which I really like. So it's covering the forehead, as well as, the mask, the eyes, face, etc. You do have, 2 sub-cameras on the sides of the head, as well as a mohawk camera. You do have a V-fin, in white, sticking out of the sides of the shell unit. The rest
kind of
of the head,
ears.
Mm-hmm. The rest of the head, you just have some vents on the side, and it's actually a pretty clean design around the sides and back. Just a little bit of panel lining. You have another camera on the back of the head with the mohawk. For the neck, you do have an armored neck, similar to the original Lfrith, so it's got the gray on the front with some visible frame parts, and then you've got white going around the back and sides.
And this like yellow bit as well.
Yeah, well, so that's the thing. The collar on this is just like big. It's like a big yellow one, and it doesn't really feel like a pop collar because it doesn't go all the way around. It's just these.
It's like neck
yellow
bars.
wedges that just go back. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the torso, you still have this shell unit, but it's a much larger shell unit, so it covers most of the upper chest as well as some of the stomach area. You do have some white armor in the middle of it, as well as some white armor on the underside of the pectorals. Then you get this nice lilac armor on the underside of the torso, as well as for the, like, you have, like, this middle, plate, just going across the whole of the chest there. Then you have some more gray, just sort of inner frame in there with some panel line details going into the waist. For the shoulders, they are in white. They have some shell frame at the base of them. And then you have like an armor plate on top, an armor plate coming out of the side, and then in the middle you have this big armor plate that has like a little circular panel line, and then you have these nice cuts going into the side of the armor. The back of the shoulder is mostly the same as the front, but instead of the shell units, it just has some flat white armor with a thick panel line in the middle of it. The biceps are pretty similar overall. Like, the arm overall construction is pretty similar to the Lfrith pre-production. You've got the visible upper arm that's like a different design, with then the open bicep open on the front with the armor sandwiching it. The joint is a bit of a different design. Instead of that more bone-like joint with the double axis, you instead just have like a disc joint going on. Like, it's just 3 circular discs, basically. Then for the forearms, though, you've got more of that lilac armor on the inner, forearm area. You have some white armor on the top and bottom, and then white armor on the outside. This white armor on the outside does have a very visible hard point to it. And then for the hands, just covered hand armor, and, the hands are hands. For the waist area, you've got some lilac armor at the top of the crotch, white going around the top of the leg connection and around the crotch piece. No skirts really at all, though. This is completely skirtless. Some visible joints plugging into the waist there. And then you do have armored thigh connection parts with white armor going all the way around. So just big ball, thighs. Then for the actual thighs, very armored up thighs here, very detailed also. This time it's just a lot of panel lining details. It doesn't really have as many vents or anything like that going on, but just lots of thick panel lining and thick armor going around. You do have this kind of fun, almost tall T-shaped design on the back of the thigh there. The joint for the leg, funnily, is a bit more... It's boxier, but it is a bit more similar to the Lfrith pre-production type than the arm joint is overall. It's just kind of interesting.
It's also thicker, though. The Lfrith pre-pro one was kind of like carved wiry thin, and then had cables and stuff running on either side of it.
Yeah, this is just a big-ass block. Then for the lower legs, you've got some vents on the sides of the legs. It's kind of cool. They're just these triangular cuts with yellow, a set of 2 yellow vents in them. I like the way these look. The knee armor is separate from the rest of the leg armor. You can see, the divide there if you're looking at an image of it between the actual calf and the knee. And then on the outside of the leg, you've got this really interesting, thick thruster setup, but it's not... Normally when you have thrusters like this on the leg, they are very much of the, Gundam Mark II, Gundam Alex, etc. style, and this one's just kind of not. It's just kind of this, weird big wedge with, a large thruster on the bottom of it, on the outside. I don't know, the way it comes off the leg just feels very different from a lot of normal thrusters.
It feels almost awkward to me, especially from the pure side view, not the sort of 3/4 that the back view gives us. It almost looks like it's a fucking a core fighter or something.
Yeah, it's very weird. But I kind of dig it for just being different. Then you have some cuts down the middle of the leg. On the back of the thighs, or of the calves, just some white armor. you do have the armor thin out a little on, like, right above the foot, and then you do have the visible connection to the feet. The feet are interesting, so you've got that same circular connection, but the feet on this design are very tall. The armor, instead of having normal ankle armor, it has some armor coming off the front of the leg there that just hangs down above the foot. You got some white armor on the top of the frontal toe, and then some lilac armor for the bottom of the shoe there. And then for the heel, it's a very high heel. Same thing, lilac armor. Has this kind of interesting thing where, like, it's mostly all the same size, but then it has this big, like, wedge in the middle of it, which is kind of fun. And the heel and the foot armor have lots of the little, like, thin cuts throughout them, which is fun. And then there's no backpack on this design, technically, by default. There's just a large hardpoint in the middle of the back. Because, again, theoretically, this is probably just being used for... it has some thrusters on it, is still probably usable for space, but is not really meant for, like, oh, we're going for super high mobility, so it just really has the leg thrusters, and then maybe, like, I guess maybe some of these, like, little, like, holes around the body could also be thrusters, like little verniers or something, but doesn't really have a lot. And yeah, for actual equipment, though, and where this thing gets complex, is we have the Tiger Hand, which is a multi-weapon system used by it on Earth in the manga. It is an interesting thing, because it's... The Tiger Hand is basically taken from another mobile suit, like an earlier test mobile suit, it seems like.
Oh, sure.
Because it has a shoulder and everything. It's like a whole arm. It's just it has added to it some handles so it can hold it. And, it can connect to the hardpoint as well. So, just to show that off, throwing these on the video now. So, the kind of a description, I guess I'll give a longer description for this just because it's, a weird design. So, it's a large arm with a shell unit in the shoulder as well as on the middle of the arm. The shoulder armor is blue with some large thrusters facing on the outside. It has these large yellow, almost V-fin-like antenna swept outward. And then in between those, you've got a large blue piece of armor that sticks out. And in between that armor is a whole shell unit running around the top and bottom of it. Then you have the upper, what would be the shoulder joint. You have a bicep that has more shell unit on the inside, I believe that is. Well, maybe not, because it's not glowing, but it is pink. But I guess the fingers are also pink on this design, because we'll talk about it. For the forearm, though, you've got, like, a large circular piece that I feel like this was, like, a part that was added later, right? Because, again, this was originally, like, an arm. But, like, so on the bicep, there's a handle. There's also the connection point for the hard point, and then also for the lower part of the arm on the underside of the forearm, there's this big circular disc that then has a large handle for it to, like, hold while pointing forward, if necessary. So it's got a couple of different handles to hold it a few different ways, depending on what it's doing. It also has a handle going around the outside of the forearm, on the top of the armor. You have this blue forearm armor.
Which is inconsistently colored.
Yeah, it's white from one side, black from the other. It looks, I think it's probably, I'm trying to remember, what is it on the model?
I think it's gotta be an error.
Yeah, I think it's gray always. I think the white's the error.
Yeah. That makes more sense.
I think it was probably sketchy in how it was, you can even see it, it looks kind of sketched how it was originally drawn, and I wonder if someone just filled it white or something on accident. Anyway. So yeah, blue armor for this forearm. You have a shell unit in the middle. There's actually like a plate bolted over the shell unit, which is kind of fun in white.
It's cool, yeah.
Like, it's got these like 3 yellow claws on it, claw marks, which I presume
it's
are
letting you in.
The Tiger
No,
Hand.
it's traffic. It's letting you know that the lanes are going to kind of swerve a little bit.
Okay. Then you have a big wrist part which then ends in a large hand. The large hand has 5 fingers. The fingers end... The bottom part of each finger of the final digit is in pink, and these are all also barrels. The way that these fingers are. They are, in fact, like, beam... There are, I believe, beam guns inside the fingers. Yeah, they conceal muzzles, making the use of both firing weapons and bladed weapons possible? What? What does it mean by that?
Maybe you can turn the beams into beam sabers?
Oh, okay. That would make sense, actually.
It's clearly Google Translate.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is, my favorite thing, though, is on the model kit, all the fingers are posable, so... You know. Firing the finger beams. So it's essentially, though, like it's wielding a Psycho Gundam arm, is what it feels like, which is kind of fun. Which is one of the reasons I like this machine. For just having the big hand. Plus, I think the way the shell unit looks, especially for the face, is so cool. There's a really good close-up that Ebikawa did of this. Let me see if I have that saved. That I just really love the way it looks. Let me go. Pictures, artist, Kane Take.
In the meantime, there is this shot that was done for the HG that I will post real quick.
Here we are.
This is just for the manual, but big ol' arm.
Yeah, big punch arm. It's a cool design, though. I like it. Yeah, here's a good view Ebikawa did of the face, though. I love the way this looks when it's all glowing. I just think it's really cool.
It's pretty cool. I feel like one of the fun things with this arm is I think you're right, especially mechanically speaking, like its features, that it's like a Psycho Gundam arm. But I think aesthetically, it looks like it ripped like some thing out of like Age, right? It's like some wear or something, right?
Yeah, no, very much. Also,
it's like Titus 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Like Age Titus arm. Here it is being worn on the back just to show that off, because, well, that's why it has the back hard point. And it does add 2 thrusters to do that, so I guess it's not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. And that can sort of like a football, like it's its own football team. It can pat itself on the ass when it makes a good play.
Okay, yeah. I do also love one of the poses, which implies that it does this in the manga at some point, which is to say, firing it like a rocket punch.
Oh, it must.
You have to, right? It has the thrusters on there. Yeah. So, like, you would want to do that. I'm looking at the pages real... Okay, the way that they draw the beam, though, even when it's just the 2 fingers, hold the hell on.
Wow!
Why is it such a big beam?
Why is it a toothpaste beam?
Okay, here we go. Here's the rocket punch. Hell yeah. Sorry, I am glad that I opened up this page. Here we go. Oh, it actually grabs the thing. It grabbed the tank that it hit, too. It didn't just, like, punch it. It actually grabbed it.
And then open palm slammed it into the ground. That rules.
That's so good. I love this, actually. I like all the Venatus Heart machines, admittedly, so... I don't know what's up with the manga, if it's still ongoing and it just updates really slowly, or what. One last image of the manga, because it's cool. Here it is, charging the beams with the fingers there while falling. And I just like that it's got the little orbs at the end.
Oh, it's doing La Muerte from Bleach.
I don't know what that is.
It's so you do the charge the fingers, the orbs on your fingers, and then you close it into a fist to merge them. And you punch with it.
When I think about that, I think of Super Robot Wars. What is Show's unit? Why am I spacing on its name? Or Shu's unit, not Show. Shu. The Granzen, where it creates a black hole, and then it creates 2 more black holes, and then it pushes all the black holes together. And then throws that down at the enemy, which then seemingly destroys an entire pocket universe that the black holes create. Because Super Robot Wars.
Sure, that seems safe.
Late game Super Robot Wars attack animations. The Granson is a robot powered by science and alchemy, so, you know. Anyway.
Maybe alchemy was a mistake.
Yeah, so...
Pokemon weren't meant to fight.
Do we want to talk about the other manga Lfrith before we talk about the other 2?
Well, I feel like because it was our listener's request, we should save it for the end.
Okay.
It's a little silly, I know, but...
Yeah. Well,
I think the Thorn urn will be relatively fast.
Yeah.
I said urn.
Yeah. So, all right.
I call it the urn because...
What?
Never mind. Don't worry about it.
It
goes great. It goes great for everyone involved.
Oh, well, no, this one really doesn't. Yeah, so this is the Lfrith This is the one I like less of the two, admittedly. This is the one piloted by Sophie. And it is, yeah, alright, so basically there's, the Dawn of Fold, which is an anti-Spacian organization on Earth. And they were basically given a bunch of leftover Lfriths after, the Vanatus incident and all that. And seemingly, they ended up just kind of, making their own, weapons out of these. So, that's why they look so different, though, too, is they're just heavily modified, by, another organization. And yeah, so, basically, the Lfrith here is, so starting with the head, you've got a very bulky armored head. It's got sort of this, dark sea foam? I don't know how else to describe this color.
Sure.
Armor going all around the head, which is really fun. You have
slate green.
Slate green, but it's not really, I don't know.
It's not. I'm goofing.
Very small mohawk, funnily enough. The camera on it is very thin on the front. It does have a larger one on the back. Just interesting how thin that is, though. You have a black forehead gem with a double V-fin going on. The upper one, they both have a bend in the middle of them. The upper ones point more upward. The bottom ones are more outward. You have these big vents on the side of the face. I really like that they have this white paint around the front of them. It just is a neat color breakup there. As for the face is very armored up because you have a little white mask in there, and you have the two green eyes. Then you have a very little bit of red chin visible, but then it's all just more of that greenish armor around the front.
It's wearing boxing headgear.
Yeah. For the torso, very large torso, 3 distinct sections. You've got 2 pectoral sections and a midsection. The pectorals both have a large boxy square shell unit on the top, and then the middle section is just a boxy piece of armor with a little divot in the middle of it. Another layer of armor going down the middle. You have more green armor around the sides as well, going all the way through the underside. You do have some thinner white, midsection armor going on right before where it plugs into the waist. You have 2 of those kind of bellowed going down. For the shoulders, you have a very interesting visible joint of inner frame going into the actual arm and shoulder here. Then for the shoulders, it's green armor, very thick with a large opening on the outside. They look like little faces because it's got a thruster on the front and back, and then it's got this large one on the outside. But it always looks like a face to me, eyes on the side and then a big mouth. But then for the bicep, pretty simple bicep, just white armor. It does have a thin bit of showing the inner frame. A little bit of a visible joint in there. Very thick forearm armor to go with all the rest of the green armored bits on this. It does have a hard point on the outside of the forearm armors. And then, pretty simple hands still. For the skirts, really interesting, waist and skirt situation. So the crotch piece is, thick armor, and it even feels like it's thicker armor than, what is... It doesn't feel structural, right? Rather than this being load-bearing armor, it feels like this armor is put over a part, especially given, the way it hangs on the bottom,
Yeah.
So you could, imagine there is, a piece underneath that. And there's a bunch of openings around the sides of it. For the skirts, there's an interesting thing going on. So you have these front skirts that are barely protecting the, like, top of, like, where the legs are connected into the waist. Attached into the side, though, you have these, like, really large swept back skirts that have these, like, little vents, like, thick black square vents on the outside.
They look like
of
Federation shields.
Yeah, and then on the underside, though, you have a large thruster facing backwards, too. And then for the rear skirt, kind of just like a pretty normal rear skirt relative to all these other designs where you got, like, a large skirt. It's got, you know, two pieces hanging down on either side, and it has a large thruster in the middle of it. For the legs, you've got white thigh pieces. They have, like, little tick marks on the top of them, and then you've got, like, some little panel lines running down the sides, as well as on the inner thigh there. For the lower leg, you can see a little bit of the joint on the back in gray. Most of the front, though, is all taken up by these very tall knee armor, with a large, what would you call that shape? Nuddle square. It's not a rhombus. It's a square where one side is one line on the top and bottom is shorter than the other. I don't know. Anyway, trapezoid. There we go. It's like a tall trapezoid. You needed to help me, Six. I don't remember trapezoid.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just joking. But yeah, large trapezoidal tall part for, like, the knee thruster. You've got some little cuts around the side. Very boxy bits of armor around the sides of the leg. Not really a lot of showing, just some vents cut into the bottom of the armor there, but, like, not, like, a lot of detail showing through. And then around the bottom of the leg, more, like, little vents cut into the sides of, like, the ankle area. The feet are really weird because it's, like, you have the foot with the toe coming out of the front in white with some more of that blue or green-blue armor on the bottom. And then for the heels, it has, like, a split heel, like, just two thin, flat pieces that are going backwards. So, really weird heel. And then finally for the backpack area. So, the back armor of the torso, there are three distinct sections, kind of like the front, like, you know, pectoral-ish section and then a middle section. But there are three hardpoints visible. There's a single thruster on the back middle going down. These hardpoints never get used, other than one by one part. Which, again...
That's not true.
Oh, does it not? Does it use these hardpoints?
Remember the big disposable laser cutter?
Was that attached to that?
I think so. Wasn't it?
I don't remember. I admittedly do not remember. I thought it just...
I'll work on this. Yeah. It kind of has its whole own thing, actually. Never mind. I think you're right. Here, I'm posting the image from the back here, and you can see it kind of ignores it might be using the middle one. It's kind of hard to tell because it's so big.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that... Okay, I think that is on the middle one, so maybe it does use that middle one. Okay. That side one never gets used.
Yeah.
I was just going to bring up, though, that I feel like these designs are definitely designs that were meant to do more that didn't...
Yes.
Well, here's the thing. Again, in the mechanics and world, it says this for the demi-barding and stuff, too. There are designer comments that are like, yeah, I designed this with one thing in mind, and then they did something else in the animation, and, you know, so... But it's, like, not... It doesn't really directly say what it was doing, but, you know, like... These designs have some stuff going on that we'll bring up that never gets brought up.
Especially with the way this is drawn, right? Like, I mean, because it never does anything else, it unfortunately made me, like, a little annoyed at Yanase, which it's probably not really his fault, but it does look like it's like they couldn't decide whether they wanted this to be for a machine for Tieria or for Lock-On, and so they sent it to another show. It's so, like... Dynamis virtue shit here. And then also, I just think it's really ugly, and I spent the whole show waiting for it to, like, have a moment where it was like, okay, I'm gonna get serious and purge a lot of the armor and have some, like, high mobility form.
Yeah, well, so the other thing is this. So, connected into the left, when looking at it from the front on the right, but it's left side of the hardpoint, you have this little arm with this large thing on the back, right? This is called the phased array cannon. It is called a phased array cannon. This has never fired a beam in the show.
Oh, that's true.
They never used it. It called it that in the original high grade manual, and it opens up and everything, but all it ever seems to do is when it activates the gun system, it opens up on the back. Which, do we have a... Let me see. I think...
God, the show is such a mess.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't have art of it opening that up. I think it might be... Let me check. I have the Mechanics and World book open, so I do have all the sete. So I'm just trying to find where it's organized at. Okay, here we are. So I have some black and white of it opened up. So, yeah, and it's called the phased array cannon in this art, too. So this isn't like just like the wiki making something up. It's in the manual, it's in this. This is the phased array cannon. It never fires, it's not a cannon, it just opens up whenever it's in gun mode. It's really bizarre. So, yeah, so there's that. That's already weird. Anyway, so for its actual armaments, it's got it has a beam Gatling gun, which you can see in the art here. I do like that it's a beam Gatling gun with a shield, like, attached on the outside of it, just in case. The shield itself also has, some beam sabers on the underside. You can see them there. So, yeah, so it's a beam Gatling, though. It has the beam sabers, and then it has beam Vulcans. Apparently, it says there are 2 auxiliary firing ports on each shoulder, so I guess these are actually Vulcans on the shoulder? But also it has them on the back, so they don't feel like Vulcans.
Well, it says firing ports. I mean, what does that mean? Does that mean it can move the mount over there if it wants to?
I don't know. I just assumed, though, that these were, I guess that must be, no. They are Vulcans. Oh, so it says it has 2, but it labels them as Vulcans on the back. So I'm wondering if it's 4 Vulcans, actually. Oh, no, I guess it says 2 on each shoulder. So, yeah, I guess these are just Vulcans on the front and back, just in case. Okay. Fair enough. Anyway, yeah, so there's that. So, it's really bizarre. The way that these machines are treated is really weird. They don't really seem to get to do everything they want to do, which is weird. And I don't know for sure what the deal is there, but, like, when there's, like, the section of the thing that's talking about all the designs, you know, there are several designs where it's like, oh yeah, we made this because it was requested, and then they did something different with it, and it's really strange. I don't know if Yanase said that about these, but, you know.
It's such a shame. The show could have, like, there's so many cool things in the show. It could have been really spectacular.
The production was just a mess. They knew how to make an anime. It was a mess. Yeah. Okay. So, all he said about it was, that, the design was meant to be recognizable as a Gundam. Like, that's what he was told to do. He was told, make a Lfrith, but make it look more like a Gundam. Which, I guess saying that about the bad guy ones is really funny. I think that's actually kind of fun. Being like, oh yeah, the ones that should be immediately recognizable as a Gundam should be the evil ones.
Wow, bad guy, evil. Such strong words.
Yes, I don't actually, but you get what I mean in terms of the writing of the show. Let's be real. Look, we know who we agree with and who we don't agree with and who we think is fighting for justice, but you get what I mean.
Uh-huh.
With the coding of the show. Anyway, one was meant to be sturdy, and then I guess the Thorn, he says, was originally cuter, but then he decided to make it weirder, and that's why, well, we'll talk about it. The Thorn is the one I like. Yeah?
I want to see the cute one.
Well, unfortunately...
I like cute mobile suits.
I don't have any of the early art, unfortunately.
I'm not pouting. It's fine.
Okay. Anyway, I'm also going back to my art in here just in case I need any. So yeah, we have the Lfrith Thorn. I'll let you resize it since you're the video person. So the Lfrith Thorn has a similarly weird thing going on. So this one's got a really fun armor color. It's brown, which is just a weird color for a Gundam.
It's like really giving Goosh and Rebake.
Yeah. It's a fun color scheme. So you got the brown, and then so for the head, you have a double V-fin again. This one's got a bit of a bigger V-fin. It's spread out a little bit more rather than having the upper ones like do the hooking upward. They just go straight out. But overall, this V-fin is like a bit thicker. Still has a big shell unit on the forehead. You've got the thin Mohawk camera. For the head, you have a different vent design around the side, and it's a lot less armored overall. It does have these like little bits of armor around the sides of the face, but then it's still white armor with a very flat chin embedded on the inside and green eyes. For the torso, it is also a 3-section torso, though this one has the shell unit across the entire upper chest, including the middle. For the middle part there, more brown armor going down with some white armor right behind that. And then for the pectorals, you have a large open vent on either side. Then you've got just two large, sort of like ash, or not brownish gray, like warm gray color for underneath there, for the torso midsection and for the lower section connecting into the waist. For the shoulders, very tall armor on the shoulders at the base of them. So you've got like a tall plate on the front and back, and then on the outside you have a really large external thruster. So like the armor goes up and down really high and then just has a large circular thruster pointing out, and more of those Vulcans on the front and back. Then for the bicep, very similar design as the one on the Thorn, or on the The same joint design as on the For the forearms, and for what is my favorite part of this design has really long forearms. You've got, like, around the elbow area, a big block of armor. Around the top, you've got this large dividing panel line. Same with along the bottom, honestly. You have this really weird kind of, like, wrist setup, where, like, there's, like, a big boxy part, and then you've got, like, a little box on the bottom of the wrist that looks like it would flip, because it does.
It feels like it should have, like, a super robot blast knuckle.
Doesn't have that, but it does have, that's where its beam sabers are.
True.
Which I think is another element I find really cool with this design. And then more hard points on the outside of the arm. It does actually use them because it does have a shield. For the waist, you have a crotch piece in the middle with a large opening on the top. No skirt armor on the front or the sides. You do have a large skirt unit on the back that has like a bunch of thrusters going on with it. I'm gonna see if I can find a better... Yeah, here, I have the black and white art. So it's like a cluster of 3 thrusters. One in the middle and then one on either side. And then just like a bit of armor above them. Then, for the thighs, really chunky thighs going on here. Really chunky thighs. They have a large thruster on the front of them, and like this really large plate of armor just kind of plugged into the front. More little points on the side here. And then it narrows as you hit down to the joint, and then has maybe the shortest forelegs a Gundam has ever had. Just in white. These really small forelegs, there's a little dividing line in between them, and then you've got the feet, which are, again, a toe armor. This one is slightly elevated, and then you have 2 sharp bug-like heels going down on the back. Finally...
Yeah, like, rather than like, lower legs, it basically has, like, little, like, leg-evoking landing struts.
Yeah. For the actual backpack, I'm trying to see if I could get a good view of it, because there's actually no sete of this without the damn thing on, it seems like. Basically, the back of it, though, is 3 hardpoints and a thruster on the bottom. You can't really you can kind of see the thruster there, but it's just like flat with 3 hardpoints and then a little bit of panel lining. And then, yeah, connected into the back of this one is another phased array cannon that does not get used as a cannon.
Cool.
As for its weapon, this one I actually really love. This is the beam diffuse gun. It is essentially a large beam shotgun. It does have a few different modes too, because as we see when she murders a student in cold blood during the school shooting episode, it does just she can just fire a charged beam out of it that just keeps getting more and more intense, which she uses to fry a dude, which is pretty fucked up actually, because no one's expecting that. Which I do like that episode of season 2, because that one's wild. Because it's like, oh, you want us to participate? Okay, yeah, we'll participate in your little war games. It proceeds to turn weapons on full and starts murdering students. Wait, I thought we were doing war games. This is what war is, right? Space Noids? Or Spacians, I should say. Which, to be fair, in the setting of, G-Witch, it's the Earthians who are the ones that are the oppressed people.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing it does very different from Gundam, which could have been interesting had they kept doing more with the show, but they didn't, because the show just fucking ends. Anyway, I know we're gonna keep bitching about it, but we'll always bitch about it. Because me and you are both disappointed.
They gotta do like a Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War, where like 10 years later they just remake the end of the show.
God.
The thing is though, 1,000-Year Blood War it's not terrible, but like the end of the manga was bad, and so remaking that, it's like, I mean, okay, this looks better, but like
it's gonna be the same
it's
story.
still stupid.
I think this cannon's really cool though. I love this design. It's just like a big weird circular gun. It's got like, I like that it's got like this weird scope on the top that's like, you know, kind of almost like a little ship bridge on the top of it, because it goes all the way around.
Sure.
And then it's just got this giant boxy cartridge on the bottom of it. I just think that looks really cool.
Yeah, I like this one better, but I don't like either of these.
This one is the one I really like, just because, again, I love its shape. I love the weird, I just like it as a weird design. And it helps that I think as a model, it looks really fun. I mean, I have basically every G-Witch model because I was getting them as the show was airing, because regardless of the show's quality, I think the designs are... I love pretty much all of them. Even these ones. I get why some people don't like these ones. I enjoy them, but I do understand, though. Let me see. I was trying to find a picture of it with the beam sabers out. Funnily, the Sete doesn't even have it. But, and I don't remember if we ever see it do it in the show, but... This is what it's supposed to be able to do. This is why it's got the big boxy wrists there. Because those are the beam saber housings.
I mean, it's not called a school stabbing. It's a school shooting.
God.
I didn't think I knew they were blue, so I don't think it uses them in the show. That's a really good color.
Mm-hmm. I just think that the model looks great. I like this design a lot. Good. Anyway. Alright. So, yeah. There's both of those. Do we want to save, like... I feel like we should save the Gundvulva for the Gundnode episode.
Oh, yeah.
I know they're not directly related, but come on.
No, I agree with you.
Okay. Alright, so then now we can finally get to the request, 1 hour and 13 minutes in.
I mean, we're how many 100 episodes into the show? People know our format.
Oh, yeah, people know our format. Yeah, no, that's fair. The Gundam Lfrith Anavata from Vanata's Heart. So, this is another Lfrith variant, emphasized on close combat. It seems like it was designed to be a combat version of the Gundam Lfrith Ju. And yeah, it is used by Yoshika Hygea? Or is it Hygea? Let's see. Okay, they don't have the katakana for me because they hate me. From Rocking Horse Orphanage. which was a facility that indoctrinated and trained child soldiers to fight in Gundams. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Why not?
So this design
hang
is
on.
a wild
They're
one.
claiming that this is a jouet? I don't see it.
Look, I mean, it is really funny of them to claim that when also having this be designed by yet another different designer who hasn't done any of the Lfriths yet.
And if anything, it looks the most like the pre-pro.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is designed by Ippei Gyobu, who we all know and love. So, for this design, for the head, we've got a blue head, a shell unit on the forehead. The shell unit is interesting here because it's, like, very rounded, and it even has this, like, little bit of armor that goes in between it, like some blue armor that goes over the middle of it, which is fun. You have these little Vulcans on the head. You have these back fins that are just sort of just like towards the back of the head on the sides of the mohawk, just swept back there. Not quite like, normally you would expect these more on the cheek area, but they're just kind of far back on the head here. You do have a camera on the back of the mohawk. You have a little small blue V-fin going on around the shell unit, like forehead jewel thing. Some vents on the side of the head. You do have a nice little mask in here. Kind of a fierce look because it looks like it's got little teeth or something going on here with the way it's got the panel lining on the face. And then you've got these really sharp pink eyes on the inside. Lots of black.
They look
very.
They look very Garland.
Yeah, or very. You know what it reminds me of? Kind of is like the Vidar or something. Just with having just having the very sharp eyes with like the thick black around them.
Well, I think that's probably not the only point of this design where you could make Vidar comparisons.
Yeah, true. The neck area, you've got same thing as all the other Lfriths. You got the covered neck around the sides and back with the bare neck in the middle. You've got a very, very close together popped collar, though it has like an interesting thing where it like kind of spikes up at the front. So like there's like this little gap between the collar and these two little like spikes up here. You have a very weirdly shaped shell unit where it has like these kind of popped up bits of glass on the top of the pectorals, as well as some going down the pectorals, which is fun. It feels like Ippei decided to go very adventurous with the shell unit instead of just doing a covering like all the others. Lots of this kind of gray armor around the top and bottom of the torso. You have the hatch going on in the middle here. The middle also almost looks like it has a face because it's got something that the Lfrith, like, regular version has, where it's, like, got these, like, little circular parts that are visible in the chest. Here, they're visible and they have, like, a yellow ring going on the inside.
And then the way the armor frames them definitely makes it look like an eye socket.
Yeah, it definitely looks like eyes and, like, a face. You have a bunch of these, like, little cuts in the armor, too, like little vents on the sides of the chest here. Thins out quite a bit. I will say, for keeping the shape, Ippei is the one that keeps most to Genthad's actual shape going into the waist, I feel like. Whereas all the others kind of... They tried, but they're still basically doing their own designs for it.
And I really like how, I mean, like, you know, obviously there's, like, the venting and stuff on the pre-pro model that it doesn't look the same as, but, like, the chest, like, shapes are not that dissimilar, but by changing it to this color, it makes it look like it's, like, you know, fucking, like, Chobham armor almost, like it's purgeable, and I don't think it is. I think that's just what it looks like.
But it just looks like it, because, yeah, it's got this very weird color scheme going on. For the shoulders, really rounded shoulder pieces, like around, they're not really rounded, but they feel very rounded because they've got like these bulging areas around the center of them going around the top that are very rounded. And then even like the corners of the armor, though, it's not very sharp. Like it could be sharper. If this was drawn by like Ebikawa or someone, you feel like it would be. You do have a shell unit on the outside front of the shoulder armor. And then you have a bunch of little holes cut into the side of the shoulder armor as well. Like these 5 little holes, 3 on top, 2 below, that are just kind of fun for breaking up the shape. This has basically the Lfrith Pre-Pro arms, again, similar to the Zhu in this regard, where you got the circular, like, very upper arm shoulder piece, and then the bicep is open on the front with a sandwich of armor going around the sides. This one has the most similar to Jinthed's joint. It's not quite as detailed, it's still very blocky, but, like, it's actually, like, the double axis joint that sticks out, which, you know, Ebikawa even reined it in on the front at least, but this one actually sticks out on the front. And then has
it fully copies the pre-pred, like, arm rails and stuff.
Yeah, it has, like, the same overall arm shape and has the rails and whatnot going on, which is fun. Though, we do know that they're a hard point on this, because, well, you can see it on the arm there. Since since the setting art here already has the armor on it. Or the armaments, I should say, on it. For the waist, you've got a gray crotch piece, where it's got this, like, big wedge of armor on the bottom of it, very rounded, lots of little panel lines going on with it for the shape. No real skirts still, much like all the other Lfriths, well, except for the Yanase ones. Visible a little bit of the joint, but then mostly ball armor. Similar to the Pre-Pro, it also has, like, some armor capping off the socket plug thigh leg piece. Look, we don't have one of these as a human, so my brain just doesn't know what to call this. But yeah. It has some extra venting on the top of it, I should say. Finally, you have a rear skirt piece that is a very long piece going down. It's kind of fun because it almost feels like it's got a generator or something on the back of the skirt, complete with, like, the way the armor looks here. It looks like little cables running into it. It's just good detail.
I also like, even though obviously there's nothing like this on the Pre-Pro, given the color of it and the way it sort of hangs down, it kind of evokes the mine packs on the back of the Pre-Pro.
As for the back of the for the thighs, upper thighs very similar to the Pre-Pro. You've got, like, the little vent with the little boxes on top. I do like these little extra cuts of, like, yellow armor going on here. And then on the back of the leg, you've got these really large thrusters on the back, very similar to the Pre-Pro. Honestly, pretty much the joint is also that's just the Pre-Pro joint, complete with the big cables.
Yeah.
You do have the large knee thrusters, but Ippei adds some, like, it's a different armor design. It's gray armor with this huge horn on the front of it, jutting forward, which is fun. Then the lower leg, though, pretty much just the Pre-Pro's leg. Very weird ankle armor, though. You've got, like, a little bit protecting around the sides in white with some little vents or thrusters on the bottom of it. Then it has, like, a large piece that's popped up protecting the front of the leg. For the feet, though, you've got the circular piece, you've got blue toe on top, white around the base of the foot with some little cuts on the top of the toe. The heel is the most interesting part, because you've got this really circular heel with, like, this popped up blue piece on the back, and the reason why the heel is designed like this is because it's got a hover unit in the foot, so it can do, like, the dom movement.
It's a really strange design.
Well, take a look at it.
Wow.
It's got, like, a huge turbine inside of the heel, which I think is great. I love it.
That's fun.
It looks cool. Yeah, so... Oh, and I didn't mention this. The hands on this design are weird. So, the back of the hand and the fingers are normal, but if you look at the palms, it's got these giant sockets in them. That'll matter when we talk about the armaments and whatnot. Anyway, so, I guess that's... Oh, right, sorry, backpack. So for the backpack, you've got sort of these 3... So this is why I assume they were thrusters on the Pre-Pro, by the way. Because, see, these are obviously thrusters,
sure.
And they're doing, like, the big, just wedges of armor with the cuts. And that's the kind of the kind of thruster I assumed was going on with the Pre-Pro on the back. Anyway, so you got these, like, 3 tall thrusters with, like, you know, like, it's like a rows of, like, parts in between. And then on the outside, you have, on these little arms that can fold up over the shoulder, 2 little cannons that can pop up.
And yet no one lists them.
Really?
I'm not seeing them on
I see it on the
Did I just
wiki.
overlook them?
Beam gun.
Okay, I'm looking at MAHQ. Sorry, Grant, you heard it.
Does MAHQ not
Chris,
have it?
Chris doesn't have it on here. It says Narukami ×2 and then Shield X1.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough. Okay.
Sorry to create work for you, Chris. Also, sorry to randomly say Grant. Hi, Grant.
Well, anyway, yeah, so you've got the two little beam guns, though. They are presumably some kind of beam guns, because this doesn't use any, like, normal firearms. It does have beam Vulcans in the head again, as are very clearly visible up there. They look like they have, like, a covering over them, too, honestly. Like, it looks... Which I guess if they're a beam, if you made it out of a certain material, maybe it can just pass through it? I don't know.
Or, you know what? It could just be that the metal's really reflective around it. Over the top of it, I don't see any, like, glimmer effects directly.
You know what? That's fair.
So.
It could just be, yeah, like, just very reflective in there. For the hands... We actually have a close-up of the hands because they have the special design for the weird socket in them, but just showing them. He also designed the finger joints up close, which is kind of fun.
That's cool.
So, these are electricity emitters in the hands, though. They can emit a discharge. The reason why this is important, they don't really work as lightning hands on their own. However, so there's the Gurenge, which is the shield. It is just kind of held on the arm. And then it is loaded with two Narukami, which are electrical conductive blade type gun bits. So this has gun bits in the arm. They are electrically conductive as well. There is a discharge produced between the blades and the hand. There are mist ducts across them that can emit dielectric mist and increase the relative permittivity of the surrounding air, making electric shocks even greater. So it literally, like, puts mist in the air to make the air also conductive of electricity. And, yeah. So it basically...
But they're gun bits. It just moves them around. It doesn't even hold them?
It can hold them, or it can use them as, weird, like, electro bits. I mean, so first of all, when they're being held in the hand, the model kit shows this off quite well, because it actually comes with effect parts for this. You can see them shrouded in electricity here.
Oh, that's tight. I forgot about this.
And then here's an example of what it's like using them as a gun bit while electrically discharging from the hand. Because it does have this effect part, too. I think theoretically it holds it in the hand and then throws it and is able to still control it because it's got the, gun technology in it. But it does the initial electricity and then it's releasing the mist, like, as it's moving, so the electricity can just move up and around it and keep conducting, is, I think, the idea.
That's fun.
I think it's cool. I think it's just a cool idea. I mean, the way this thing debuted was so cool that everyone was like, oh, they better make a model of this. Because it basically shows up and is, floating in the air with electric sword bits. There's a couple other pages to it, but everyone saw this and was like, holy shit, what is this? When are they doing a model of it? What the hell? Because this thing rules, and to be fair, it does rule.
It does, yeah. It's the coolest design we've talked about today.
I do really like this design. I like the way it's drawn, like, while swinging the swords here, like, as it's using them to, like, shoot down. It's using them to strike down missiles. It looks like it's firing actually from its little cannons up there to intercept some of them. But it's like it's like pirouetting around is what it looks like with the way the legs are posed. It looks so cool. All the pages with this machine are cool. This machine just looks so cool.
Yeah, it's sick.
Here's a good close-up of it, by the way, so you can see, like, when I said it, like, has the detail of looking like it has teeth on the face. Like, I love the way this mask looks. Just the way the panel line goes, it just makes it look, it looks fierce. I like this machine a lot, though. So, yeah. And that's all of the Lfriths. So hopefully you enjoyed your... you got your request and more. Oh shit! Yeah. Sorry. I have to show it blocking some beam shots from, the Lfrith Ju here. Where it's just spinning the swords in front of itself.
That's cool.
Which I do love that. I mean, I guess the swords are probably made out of some kind of...
frame better.
Oh yeah, sorry. Extra strong material, but yeah, this is great. This machine rules. I love this thing. Anyway.
That's good.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's mostly all the Lfriths. And I hope everyone enjoyed. Six, where can people find you and your work online?
You can find me on Blue Sky 6.scanlinemedia.com, and you can find my work at scanlinemedia.com or patreon.com/scanlinemedia. We would really appreciate your support in these hard times. And you can also join us on the Scanline Media Discord, link down in the show notes, unless you're on YouTube, because I don't put Discord links on YouTube, because that's a bad idea. And over there you can chat with us about Mecha, about other stuff. You can submit requests of your own, like this one, if there's something you want us to talk about. Yeah, Dylan, what about you?
You can find me over on Blue Sky at Low Poly Robot, where I just post games or robots or whatever else I'm thinking of. I randomly posted a leopard gecko last night because I thought about how leopard geckos have really fat tails, and I think that's fun. Because sometimes you would see them in, like... Well, I don't know if they were leopard geckos. They kind of looked like leopard geckos in Vegas, though, the weird geckos we would get on the walls. Anyway, look at that guy. Look at that tail. Chunky tail.
I'm looking at that tail. It's a chunky tail. It's true.
I love these friends. Anyway. Also, sorry, I was looking at the Venatus Heart website, and they haven't updated in so long that they still don't even have the Nyan on here yet. And I'm like, have we seen the Nyan's actual Sete art? I don't understand.
Don't know that we have.
Okay, we do have it. Yes, we do have it. That's so weird. Anyway. Well, yeah. Anyway, that's all. That's all. G-Witch is such a weird thing. Watching something that is handled... Watching something that is, like, so successful, and yet they don't... Like a company deciding we really don't want to capitalize on that at all. And we don't want to give it any support. And it's just like, oh, okay. You know,
it's very strange.
It's very bizarre.
Cause yeah, it's just like, you know, it was fun. You're watching it and you're like, this seems genuinely cool. Can we do something with this? Oh, no. Okay, my mistake.
Oh, apparently the Lfrith itself also has a bunch of the mist emitters all over its body, so it can basically just surround the air with mist so it can electrify the air. That's cool. That's a cool idea. I actually really like that as an idea. Surprised I have not really seen that come up on Mecha before. Anyway. Peace.
Peace.